Tara, get ready to play.
Hey, pretty lady, you tell yourself that you'll never make it. Drown yourself in lies and your illusions. Don't you know that what you think is who you are? Hey, pretty lady, you tell yourself that you're not beautiful. Who told you all those lies that just deceiving you? Don't you know that you can be all you've always dreamed of? God made you beautiful, said it in his word that you were beautiful, and you were going places that you never dreamed. He said that you're the first, not the last, so don't believe those lies and those illusions. They're lies and just illusions. Hey, young man, I see through your eyes and I can tell you the way you see yourself is how I feel you. Don't you know the stuff of what you're made of? Everybody listening, as long as you're breathing, yes, you have hope. And if you're down, the only way is up. Don't you know that he who's down needs fear no fall? God made you beautiful. He said it in his word that you were beautiful, and you were going places that you never dreamed. He said that you're the first, not the last, so don't believe those lies and those illusions. They're lies and just illusions. Hey, hey, don't believe those lies and those illusions. Don't you know that you are better, bigger and better than that? Yeah, God made you beautiful. He said it in his word that you were beautiful, and you were going places that you never dreamed. He said that you're the first, not the last, the head, not the tail. God made you beautiful. He said it in his word that you were beautiful, and you were going places that you never dreamed. He said that you're the first, not the last, so don't believe those lies and those illusions. Don't you know you're beautiful? Yeah, me and my rugo, but my control. Because you're beautiful. Because you're beautiful.
Hello and good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Powder Room. I'm so excited. This is our 13th episode. It's been a while coming. That means for 13 weeks, you've sat with us in the Powder Room. We've talked, we've had our arguments, and here we are at the very 13th episode, and we have quite a topic to jump into tonight. So I'm not even going to waste our time, yeah? But just for those who don't know the mantra that we say every Saturday evening when we're starting with the Powder Room. The Powder Room is a private space in a public place where you can, let your hair down, have honest to goodness conversation, gain uncommon sense, and then put yourself back together again to face the world with truth, tact, and tenacity. My name is Karachi Atia, and it's really, really, really a pleasure to join all of you that are joining us on YouTube tonight. Thank you so much for making it a date, and I'm so glad you're here. This has been a really, really tough week for us. It's been so sad to hear about the helicopter crash, and of course, in the early hours of this morning, we also got the bad news about Chadwick Boseman. So our hearts and the hearts of every single person in the panel tonight goes out to everyone experiencing loss and pain at this time. So come with me. Let's meet the other ladies and gentlemen who are in the powder room with us tonight. First and foremost, Ada the Sage.
Hi, everyone. Good to be here. We hope you have fun with us today.
Thank you. Thank you. And of course, we have Ruthie the Prof.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the powder room again.
Hello, Ruthie. Thank you so much. Casey the Realist.
Hey, people. Good evening. So good to be here. I missed you all last week.
I know. Last week was, in fact, let me not even jump into last week when I joined Powder Room from the road. There's nothing in here, but anyways, let's get the last panelists in. See the strategist.
Hello, everyone. Ladies and gentlemen, good to be here.
Welcome, welcome. You're looking really nice tonight, see. And before we jump in, I'd just like to thank.
Thank you. So do you. I like the Wakanda song.
Oh, thank you. You know, we're just. It's not only Chadwick. We also lost quite a number of Nigerians. It's been a year. I would even say it's been a week. It's been a year. See, and I don't know. We just thank God for every second, every, you know. Oh, well, let's move on to happier climes. Yeah. So like I said, it's not just the ladies that are here tonight. We also have very dandy gentlemen, and I can't wait to introduce them to you. First of all, we have Eric Chidebelu Ezekwem. He's a conference speaker. He's a relationship coach. He's a new covenant preacher. He's a hater of injustice and oppression. Oh my goodness. Mr. Eric, please welcome Pastor Eric. He's a pastor actually, but he's more into conference speaking, relationship and coaching, both couples and singles. We're so glad you could join us tonight. Good evening, sir.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here.
Thank you so much for being here.
You ladies look amazing. Beautiful.
Thank you,
so
sir.
You can see why he's a relationship coach. Many men will look at their wives. Okay, let's not even start. Let's not get there. Let's not jump. You know, put the cart in front of the gun of the horse. Sorry, you see the gun. Tonight is not going to be easy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. He's not alone. He also has Mr. Tayo Faswan joining us from Ekiti State in his car. Mr. Tayo is a writer, he's a scientist, he's a researcher, an entrepreneur, a publisher. He's a troublemaker. Those are his own words. He's a husband.
You have to include that one.
I had to. I like it. But say the one I really like is Zaddy. If you know what a Zaddy is, you will understand why we have TV. And then the last but not the least is the Nigerian.
I want to change all this my profile so that people using it against me.
Welcome, T.
Good evening.
So happy to.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
To be here.
I'm so glad you're here.
I'm looking so glad. Beautiful, according to your dad. And yeah, I've been still looking at all of you since. Yeah, I'm happy to be here. All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for joining.
All right, Mr. Tayo and Mr. Eric are not alone. We have Mr. Sheun Abimbola, who's a serial entrepreneur. Mr. Sheun.
Oh, hi, it's good to be here.
Hello. Please
Hello.
say hi again, Mr. Sheun.
Hi, can you hear me now?
We can hear
Yes.
you louder. It's just the timbre of your voice we needed to hear again. That's why we said you should say it again. So we hear the depth of the high. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
Is MD in here yet? MD Tiamiu?
He is. I saw him.
Yes.
All right, good evening,
MD
everyone.
Tiamiu. He has a personal
Yeah, good
blog.
evening.
He's a king of motivation. He's a Mandela Washington Fellow. He's a satirist,
Thank
an
you.
author, and a TV and radio host. We're clapping for all the gentlemen that have joined us in the powder room tonight. We're so honored to have you.
Wow.
Is Mr. MD here? I didn't see his face.
Yes.
I can see
I
his
have
face.
my camera on. Can you see my face now?
Oh, hey.
Yeah, good evening, everybody.
Thank you.
Good evening, MD.
Yes, glad to be
MD, I
here.
take it that you like hooded tops.
He does.
No, it's not like I like it. That's it's part of my brand.
MD, what's going on with your network?
But I can hear him very well. It's part of his brand.
I think MD is logging in from Sokoto. Kara,
I
confirm.
don't know. Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yes,
Yes.
we can hear you now, MD.
All right. So you said I like hooded top. Did you say that? Yeah.
Yes,
So I
I
was
did.
trying to say that it's not just that I like it, it's part of my branding. And I'm excited to be part of this powder room. I don't have powder though. I don't have powder in my house.
Thank you.
But
It's
I
fine.
look forward to enjoying
Totally
this.
fine. MD,
Yeah,
where are
let's
you?
get it.
Where are you presently?
Well, I am in Kaduna. I'm connecting from Kaduna State. Yeah.
Oh, wow. Our hearts go out to you guys. There's a lot happening in Kaduna now, and a lot of people are speaking
Yeah,
out
there
about
is.
that. Yes.
Mhm.
So our hearts go out to every one of you and your family, friends,
Thank you.
and in Kaduna who are going
Thank you.
through such a really tough time. So thank you so much for joining us. We're going to jump in.
My pleasure.
As a matter of fact, when we put this topic out on Facebook and we actually boosted it using Facebook adverts, we had like almost 400 and something hits from men and only 80 something hits from women. That shows you that the topic alone had men like up in arms. How dare you say men don't fall? You know, it was really interesting to see the reaction coming from social media. So you people are facing, you're typically standing in for all the men tonight. And that's why we're really happy to have you. And what we're going to do tonight is quite simple. I'm just going to share with us like 6 to 8 comments that are normally debated or talked about. Now, some of these comments are proven by data. They are supported by data. And some other ones are just things that we have in our heads that we feel this is maybe based on experience or maybe based on what people shop around. So I'm just going to be mixing these two up and we're going to debate them. At the end of each one, I'll tell you if it's supported by data or if it is just gist that gets around. So are we ready, ladies and gentlemen of the powder room?
Yeah.
Bring it on, Kara.
I like that.
On.
Okay,
We're
so
ready.
the first one, very simple. The last one we're going to, let me just tell us the last one so that you guys are not going anywhere. The last one is men don't fall in love. So wait till we'll debate that one last. But the very first one is love has always been tricky, extremely tricky to measure and define. Is this true? Is it true that love is extremely tricky and it's difficult to measure and define? Will you say this is true? Debates.
Who used to go first?
Yes.
Tayo. Tayo, go now.
Okay. Okay. Am I supposed to raise an objection to that?
You can
because
either agree or refuse. Anyone
No,
that
I refuse, definitely. I think love can be measured. In fact, I think it's actually measurable, self.
Mr. Tayo, you know you're speaking for the men. So you're saying that if a man loves you, it can be defined and measured.
Yes, I think it can be defined and measured. That's what I think that's the that's the reason why you people say we don't fall in love, I guess. Because I think we do so differently. So we measure our own. Yeah, we can even get a bowl and say, oh, okay, this is the measure of my love for this person. Get maybe a cup and say, okay, this is the measure of my love for this person. So we have grades and levels to this thing. So I guess that's my own point anyway. I will expand on it much later. So let my other people speak.
Thank you so much. Wow. That's it. That's the first blow. I thought it was actually going
yes, of course.
Okay. All right. Any other gentleman or lady? Ladies, feel free to jump in. Is love extremely tricky to measure and define?
Okay, so I have a contribution, if you guys can hear me.
Yes, MD.
Yes.
All right, so thinking like a researcher that I am, there are two kinds of research that we do in measurement when you want to measure things or sample or do a survey. There's what we call qualitative survey and there's quantitative survey. So for quantitative survey, we come back in numbers and figures. So you can do percentages. You know, you can say, okay, 56% of women in Lagos live in semi-urban area. You know, you can put numbers to it. But in qualitative research, you cannot put numbers and percentages to them. So you have to use another approach for the measurement. So you have to study the pattern, you have to see how things correlate to things. So when it comes to measurement is such a big thing that, you know, you cannot box it to just a number or a bowl. So, and I think that love kind of falls into a qualitative, what do you call it now, item, or, I mean, help me with the word I'm looking for.
It's qualitative.
Love is a qualitative affair.
It's qualitative.
Yeah, so you cannot put, okay, you cannot say, my husband loves me 56%. You know, so as a researcher, there's a different way. So if somebody makes an intentional effort to understand who you are, you know, and speak your love language, for example, you can measure to what degree their effort is. You can measure to what degree they are committed to trying to make you happy. And to a great extent, you can measure it. But if you're looking for numbers, or you want to draw a pie chart, or you want to do like, you know, histogram for love, it would not work. But yes, you can actually measure it. Because there's a book that's popular, The 5 Love Languages. I believe a lot of us have seen it. You know, it says that a woman or a man, anybody at all, could be loved either by action. You know, they can also be loved by words. They can be loved through different things, objects. Some people want you to give things, you know, like gifts. So if somebody takes his or her time to study what your love language is, that's one thing you can, you know, you pay attention to and say yes, you know. And then if it connects to something that is beyond, you know, like an exchange. Some people would come and say, I love you, I do, and they will speak your love language, but it is tied to something they want to benefit from you, not because they genuinely want to love you. And as a human being, you can feel it. When people love you genuinely, you can actually feel it. Do you understand? It's not even about being related by blood or marriage. You know, when you can meet somebody in 10 months and the person shows love that you have not experienced all your life from everybody you have ever met. You know, so summarily, in my opinion, you actually can measure love as a qualitative you know, subject, not quantitative. You cannot put it together and count it, but qualitatively, you actually can measure it. Thank you.
Oh my goodness gracious. This is number one, and we're already like deep. See, are you seeing what I'm saying?
I told you, Kara. Yeah. Correct guys are in tonight.
I agree. I agree. A very interesting comments already from Tayo and then MD, and I agree. But what I would say is, do you love me or do you not love me is a yes or no question. It's either you love someone or you don't love someone. It's the expressions that can now look like they're in degrees. But either you love someone or you don't love someone. You know, so it's, you know, kind of check on whether someone loves you or not. So
men can say yes. See, men can actually say yes, but they don't.
Yeah.
Well, I
So
guess
it's the expression. Yeah, it's the expression that would determine. So I get what you're saying. So you can say it's a yes or no question, but it's the expression that you use to measure whether it's yes or no. So it's not, oh, do you love me? And I say a little or a lot. So it's either there's love or there's no love. And it's the expression that will take you to the yes or no answer.
Okay. Wow, very interesting. Thank you very much, C, for adding that. Does anyone else want to jump in here before we move on to the next?
I think one area that is going to help us. Hello.
We can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Hi.
I think one thing that is going to help us really kind of define our answers, because we're talking about defining love, is really understanding what's in mind when you think about that word love. Because you say somebody can say he loves you and he really doesn't love you. You know, something came to mind when you mentioned that someone might love something about you and not love something else about the same person. Do we now cancel out that whole love? If there's love in one direction and there's no love about something else. So it's what love is that really matters. And what comes to mind, maybe I'm going too far, but I see love beyond just feelings, because those things change. You know, love is more of a decision. So when that decision is made, then you can start to measure, or you can start to check whether, you know, this is available or not, or what measure it's available in. But the decision has to be made first. That love has to happen first. Then you start measuring it by the expressions.
So I like what you just said, Ruthie. That means we need to first of all clearly define the kind of love we're talking about. So tonight it's romantic love. It's a love between a man and a woman. It's not the filial love that's between relatives or sisters and brothers. It's the one between a man and a woman. Yeah, the romantic love. That's the one. So now that we've defined it, you have said that we need to also know that you can't pick and choose. If you say you love somebody, then you also, there are some other things that you may not love about them, but you can't just toss away the things that you do. Meanwhile, see, the strategies were saying that it's not something you can measure, you know, like pick on like that without see, right? That's what you were saying. We can't begin to nitpick on it.
Yeah, so there's not like, oh, I love you a bit, I don't. You either love someone you don't love. And so what Ruthie just said, you know, whether you like some things about, so it's not love. Those things about, oh, I like this aspect, is like, I like some character traits, I like some things. But love, the love we're talking about, it's either you love someone or you don't. And that's why when you love someone, you can actually overlook those other things you may not.
Thank you so much.
So I have an opinion on a few things that have been said, right?
Yes.
So the fact that we can't even agree on a definition among just about 10 of us shows that love can't actually be defined or measured. That's what I think. I mean, when C said love it's either yes or no, if you put a man in that kind of fix, he's most likely going to lie to you, because the answer to that question is most times we don't know.
I agree.
We don't know. So for men, love is a spectrum.
Sorry, say that again. For men, love is a spectrum.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's not a yes or no thing for us. It's hard, right? So a number of things move our needles from one end of the spectrum to another. One of the things that fixes that spectrum, that needle, is a decision, like Ruth said. But
wow.
It's show here. Okay, I think his network has been cut off, but he's still going to continue. Show, are you here?
Can I come in?
Yes. Hello. Okay. Yes. Mr. Eric. Yes.
All right. When you talk about romantic love for most men, is a process. It's like a process. You know, men are like hunters. And when they hunt after a lady, they begin to fall in love as they hunt. The problem most of the time is when they are hunting for a lady, the ladies fall so fast. And when the ladies fall so fast, it affects the formation of the love, romantic love in a man's heart.
Wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's a process. It's a process for most men. A man might see a lady and like the lady, and get excited about the lady and begins to chase the lady. The moment he begins the chase, just like the animals the carnivorous animals that do the chase. The moment the man begins the chase, the love begins to form. Romantic love begins to form, and the lady has a lot to do with the formation of that love. If the lady falls so quickly, many times they fall so quickly by presenting themselves for sex. But when the ladies fall so quickly, then the love won't form properly. That's why most of the time the guy leaves them to chase another person.
Right.
But during the chase, if the lady understands the process and gives the guy the time, and you understand what I mean, the real thing they give to guys. And then the guy takes his time to do the chase and takes real time to do the chase. What happens is the guy begins to develop value for the girl. The guy begins to develop respect for the girl, and the true romantic love is forming gradually. Eventually, the guy will fall in love, genuinely. And there's not going to be heartbreaks for the ladies. The truth is that men fall in love, but it's a process. It's a process.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Thank you so much. This is so amazing. For a second, it started sounding a bit like office politics. You know how office politics plays out. You can't fall too soon. You have to know when your boss is happy to, all those little nuances. So ladies, I hope you're listening. That means all those shakara times that we do, it's actually giving love time to mature and to deepen and to grow. That's what Eric is saying. He said, as soon as, when a man sees what he likes, he chases. But as soon as the girl falls too soon and too quickly, she loses value. It's like supply exceeding demand. And so instantly price goes down. Let's use economics now. We all did economics in school. And so the price goes down, and you're now a cheaper thing. And the guy, nobody wants cheaper. Hey, this is serious. Oh Lord, please, what is the principle for married people? Since you not only falling. This is a serious topic tonight. I'm sorry that I'm laughing, you have to laugh. You have to laugh. These things are serious. Eric said that when the love is mature, then it reduces the chance of a heartbreak and it increases your value before the man. Very interesting. Thank you so much for that. I don't know if Shane was back. It was actually cut off mid sentence.
Yeah, you know how Nigerian data network can just fall your hand.
Yes, true.
Shehu added Nigeria. Ada, you're happy now, Abi?
Yes.
Ada, you're happy. Shehu added Nigeria.
Ada is in Canada. That's why we're
okay.
So please, Shehu, go ahead.
Oh yeah, so I mean the point just being it's not usually a yes or no thing for men. I think it was Eric that was saying it's a process, and I quite agree with him. I was saying earlier that it's a spectrum. A decision usually helps us fix that middle on the spectrum, but most times we're not sure. We're not as certain as we would want to, as women would want to think we are.
Okay, so let me ask another question, follow-on question, Shehu. So you said it's a spectrum, right? And decision is what pegs it down. So let me ask, what moves it, what reduces it on the spectrum, and what kind of stuff?
Why don't you say what increases it? Why do you have to say what reduces it?
So I think love, right? We can't separate love languages from, the emotion of love. So let me speak personally, right? I find sapiosexual women very interesting.
That's intelligent women.
Yes. So I would usually, I'm more likely going to want to vibe with someone who is sapiosexual more than someone who is not sapiosexual, right? If I find an outgoing person interesting, I'll probably enjoy spending more time with that person than someone who's probably maybe overly introverted, for instance. So these are some of the things that move, what's it called? And then, you also want to, as much as you're looking out for things you want, you're also looking out for things you don't want. So for instance, if you're the kind of guy that a woman's accomplishment threatens you, for instance, no point going after someone who is driven or ambitious. You're going to get insecurity will creep in. If you're somebody who doesn't like too much argument, if you're a traditional kind of guy where women are to be seen or heard, you're going to find it difficult when people put their opinion on the table around certain things. So it's about finding your tribe and vibing with that tribe. Yeah.
Whoa.
Find your tribe. Did you hear that?
Wow.
Find your tribe and vibe your tribe.
Kara,
Yeah.
this looks like a night where I'll just be nodding like a gamma and shouting wow, wow, like ambulance. Wow.
But I'm so excited. Do you know why I'm so excited? Many times women teach relationships, yeah. So we teach relationship, and we interpret it from our own perspective.
Yes.
And very few times do we hear the man's perspective.
Yes.
Yeah. That's really very exciting. Thank you so much. Wow. We're just on number one, and there's been so much already that has been said. I hope there are single ladies that are listening, and I hope you have a jotter and a pen, because all these things you're doing. See what Shehu just said. You know what the note I made? See, I made a note that it doesn't pay to change for a man, because you can only pretend for so long. If you're not his tribe, you're not his tribe. But the day he realizes that needle is shifting, hey, right now the needle is my plan. Tayo, what did you say?
Tayo. So you can change his tribe.
He can change their tribe and become something else. It's possible. You don't do that.
He can change his tribe, or she.
No, I'm talking of she. Even both of them, actually.
Is that possible?
Yeah, I wrote an article once that was maybe 4 years ago, where I called marriage the greatest compromise ever. I made a personal example of myself, and I said, okay, yeah, for instance, now I'm already home. Yeah, I'm in my study, and that's quite unusual before I actually got married. I'm a nice product. I stayed in Ibadan, and if you stay in Ibadan, you know that the nightlife of Ibadan is actually the most interesting part. So I
disagree with that, but let's continue.
So we'll come back to that. So the song is by 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock p.m., the day was just breaking for me. Yeah. So, but I had to kind of, my wife doesn't like that. She didn't, and she still doesn't. And I had to kind of tone that down. And eventually now, by maybe at most 7:38, I'm already in. So both of them can actually change tribe. Yeah, let me just use that. It depends on what the two of them are ready to let go, what they are ready to accept, what they are ready to compromise upon. And that's part of the love process, actually. It's more or less like a give or take. Yeah, if you realize that, oh, okay, this person is ready to change for me, and you realize that the behavior he or she is maybe not really comfortable with, it's not actually the one you can actually hold on to, then nothing stops them from changing. So it's more or less like
it's like two hands trying to wash themselves. Yeah, you achieve a lot by doing that. You get a kind of a synergy. Let me call it that. So they can definitely change tribe. It doesn't have to be pretense. You can actually let go of something and become the same tribe. Let me put it that way.
Thank you. Wow. Very well said. But very quick question before we move on. Very quick question. Did this change or compromise happen before marriage or after marriage for you, personally?
No, it happens before marriage. It's a gradual thing. You just heard what Eric said. It's a gradual process. That's what the three of us have been agreeing on. My brother there just said it's a spectrum. You move. It's like a movement. And when I told you the other time, I said this thing can be measured, right? So it can actually start with what they call this thing they used to sell stuff in the market, a Derica bottle, a Derica thing, yeah. Then it graduates a cup, then a pail, then a giant tank. It's moving. It's moving. So it's not just a sudden stop. It starts from when you start dating, then you move to when you start courting, then eventually, by the time you get to marriage level, then almost everything has become more or less like part of you. So it's a gradual movement. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, so that rounds up our very first statement that love is extremely tricky to measure and define. And according to data, this has proven to be true. So all of us that said, yes, you're correct, it is proven by data that you can't, it's extremely tricky because there are many parameters, and just like we heard earlier, before, it's more qualitative than it is quantitative, yeah? So here's the second statement, and I really like this one. This one states, a man can love more than one woman at the same time. Let me say that again. A man can love more than one woman at the same time. Yes, I can see some people are nodding, so please.
Actually, you're shaking tables, so yes.
MD, I like GMD.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear you, MD.
Yes.
Great.
Yes,
okay, so what's the question? Sorry, I lost it a little bit.
Okay, the question is, a man can love more than one woman at the same time. Is this possible?
Abba, that one is possible now.
I like that.
Like, let me write on what Ruth. Let me write on what Rob said. She said clearly that you can love someone, an aspect of someone, and still do not love something like that, right? Did you say something like that, Ruth?
Yes.
Yeah.
Did you?
Yes.
Yeah, you can love one and not love something else. Yes.
Yes, and not love some part of the same person. So it means that if you look at it, I like to be mathematical sometimes. If you look at it by maths, by fraction, you can love what you did not like about that first person. You cannot love it in the other person.
Yeah. Rich brother.
Let's say
this is a problem.
Have two sides, A and B. In the person number one, are we together? Now B side, but you don't like our A side. You get, so the question is, and I want to support what Ruth said, would you throw away the love outrightly? Love doesn't have to be unilateral sometimes. It's not like, yes, love. We're talking about love. Love, yes, love doesn't mean that, it doesn't mean that you cannot express that same thing to somebody else. For example, we want to use our children as an example. Romantic love, yes. I know that.
Totally agree.
You can love plenty people at the same time.
I can see the comment. Let me make this point. I know that we're all coming from this different different backgrounds of life, you know, and then it's what has shaped our experiences and our understanding of even what love is completely different, you know. But historically, we are very powerful beings, and our power has even improved over the years. Our power to process information, our power to learn and unlearn, our power to love has actually also improved over the years. I am not saying that everybody is capable at the same time to love more than one person, you know, the same way. And I believe the question is talking about heterogeneous relationships, right?
Yes.
Because we're Nigerians,
Yes.
we don't want to play the 14-year card, right? We don't like what 14 years imprisonment looks like. So we are talking about, yeah, so you have people, so you can love the opposite gender or even your gender the same way. Like I can have two friends who are men in a non-romantic way and love them the same way. It is possible to love more than one person at the same time. Now, the romantic love is a little bit different because, you know, there's other room, you know, in the equation. That is what really just separates it. Else, everybody needs to be loved and respected like a human being first and foremost. Just documented, you know, what do you call it, relationships. The only thing that is the marriage is the document and the ring that was exchanged. There's no respect on the table, you know, there is no service, there is no understanding. But then, how can you love somebody you don't respect? How can you love somebody whose dreams you don't believe in? You know? So if I respect you, are you with me? I respect you, I believe in your dreams, I support you, and I want the best for you. That is love. And I can do the same thing for the next person. So in my opinion, yes, I can do the same thing. I can respect her. Yes, I can respect her, I can believe her, I can support her if I have the means to do that. So the fact that I love you, because in my opinion, love is something you can unpack. Because usually we use love to cover our shady things. If you don't respect me, you don't believe in my dreams, you don't support me when you should, you don't love me. Forget about the fact that we are documented as husband and wives. So if, you know, if I can give you respect, I can believe in you, I can push you, you know, positively, I can stand by you, you know, that is love for me. And if I have the strength, I'm not saying everybody would have the strength. If I have the strength to do it for 2 more people, I will do that. And that is still love. You know? So, but will I take the remaining 2 to the other room? Allow me to decide that one. Give me the permission to define it, you know, after the whole show. Am I making some sense?
You are.
Yeah. So if you remove the other room from the equation,
you haven't answered the question about, are you taking
love becomes very easy to define.
He said you should leave him to decide if he will take the other 2.
Why do you want to know that one now?
Can I say something?
But do I love them?
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you so much, MD. Wow, there's quite a lot of food for thought there.
Can I come in?
Well, let me quickly take.
Ada wanted to say something.
Ada's notes before I come out again. Ada?
Okay, I wanted to say that at every material point in time, for the purpose of this conversation, I'm going to make love look like a pie chart, because I feel that relationships transcend between romantic love to the filial kind of love to the other kind of love that comes because you're married to someone, which is commitment. I don't want to use the spiritual word, would have used agape or divine love, right? Now we're talking about romance. Romance, the core component of romantic love is physical attraction. So is it possible for a man to be physically attracted to more than one woman at one time? Yes. Is it possible, Seth, for a woman to be romantically attracted to more than one man at the same time? Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if we put, like Tayo said, it's a spectrum. Was it Tayo? No, it wasn't Tayo that said. Sheol said it was the spectrum. So let's put the pinpoint there. Boom. Then let's move up. So when romantic love kicks in, romantic attraction, because the core component of the romantic part is physical attraction, and I'm saying that for both sexes, you can be romantically attracted and in love with more than one person. It is now the issue of love, like he was saying, the other points the person has scored on the spectrum that can help you make the decision whether if I take this other two or this other person to the other room, what will be the consequence for this person? You start weighing who weighs more, who can I afford to disappoint, who can I afford if this person walks away from me. Do you understand what I'm trying to say? So it's that thing, there's always a balance, but I think it's come see, come
I think, let me bring the balance.
Yes, so that's what I wanted to say, because we're talking about romantic love. I feel like it's very physical, and it's possible that you can be physically in love with more than one person at one time.
Okay, can I try and bring the balance?
Yes, sir.
All right. The unfortunate truth is that a man can fall in love with many women.
Sure.
So many. In fact, it's been on record that a man fell in love and had them 1,000, about 1,000. So,
Uncle Solo. Uncle Solo.
So if a man could do that, I mean, it tells you what a man is capable of doing.
My God.
Yeah.
So these men that are married to one wife, they're in prison or what?
No, they are not in prison. I'll tell you, I'm trying to bring the balance now. Men can fall in love. That's what men have, that capability. You know, Ada was trying to say that women also fall in love and also fall in love with romantic. Yeah, just little, maybe one or two. I'm talking of 1,000.
The women are learners.
You understand? So women don't understand. Women don't understand the act of falling in love with many, many, many people of the opposite sex. It's the act of men. Let me explain. That's why the balance now. That's why self-control, a fruit of the spirit, is very vital for men. If you remove that fruit of the spirit called self-control, oh boy, men will fall in love with anything. You know, they have that capacity. That's one of the difference. That's the difference between men and women.
I'd like to say something, if I'm permitted. I'd like to add something.
I don't want to go spiritual because this is not a spiritual, stuff. That's why I'm restraining myself from going spiritual. I would have explained some other thing, how it is so. But the truth is that men have that capacity to fall in love with so many women.
Mr. Eric, can I add something?
Please add.
Exactly. So I agree with everything you have said, but I want to just edit it a little bit.
Okay.
I do not think it's just men who have the ability to love more than one thing. I think it is human beings. However, it is more natural for men than for women. Frankly speaking, yes, we all can love, because when, like I said in my first contribution, love is one word that cannot be spelt but acted out. You have to show it, and in it, it's like a toolbox that has so many things that are concrete into it. So when you say a romantic love, you can have, a romantic affinity to. So a woman is also capable. There are societies where they practice polyandry, and the women there are doing well, and they have the right to be motivated.
Fabulously well.
Practice polyandry. We have now heard that one of the women died because she's married to more than 3 men. So, but the thing is this: we're all shaped. Life is nature and nurture. We have all been nurtured, with systems and practices that make us want to believe, that it is not proper. Like, we can't balance it in our head. And I totally understand. You get what I'm trying to say? Like, if you look back even in history, you discover that a lot of the men that we celebrate, whether documented or not, they had romantic affinity to more than one woman. And when people come out and say, okay, maybe this is not a good one, and I'm saying that if you want to nail a man, to the wall, or you want to castigate him for having a romantic relationship with more than one woman, and then you say he's going to hell because of that, it means that even Abraham would not enter heaven to start with.
No, people
And
not
if Abraham-
desirable. Yeah.
do you understand? So Abraham started all of this.
Okay,
I
was actually bringing a balance. I was trying to bring a
Yes,
balance. I understand what he's saying.
Father Abraham had many sons, many
He had many sons now, not many wives
You have
now.
to sing that
The
song.
point. The point is.
Okay,
The
okay.
point.
Sorry.
The point remains.
Sorry,
The
MD,
point.
let's go back to Eric for him to finish up his
Yes,
thoughts.
yes.
So that we can move on
Because
of time.
I was actually trying to. I wasn't trying to support men for loving so many women. I'm not also trying to say that women don't have that ability. Women can also do that, but it's not always the nature of women to do that. It's more of the nature of the men to do that. But the balance is irrespective of whether the lady, the woman, or the man. The balance is self-control. Self-control. With self-control, then you can limit your romantic love to one person that you are married to. But without self-control, even when you are married to one woman, you can still misbehave and fall in love with your secretary, fall in love with your house care person, fall in love with your neighbor, fall in love with anybody. But when you bring in self-control,
It's your neighbor.
when you bring in self-control, which is a fruit of the spirit,
With your landlord,
it balances it.
Well, I didn't say that. Don't quote me.
Thank you so much, Pastor Eric. Thank you very much.
you.
Somebody on YouTube made a comment when Pastor Eric was talking. He said, "So can we define that? Is that love or is that lust?" So that's an interesting question from YouTube.
Okay.
Do we call both of them love, or would you say I love one, but I'm lusting after another person? How does that work?
So can I shoot something in here?
Yes, Mr. Tayo.
Okay, let's look at this loving multiple women from different angles. Most for guys, most of the, should I call it, love appears are attached to something they see in the women. Okay, I will bring it down to a crude level that I definitely, should I say I experienced or I participated in during my undergraduate days. Guys, there's a friend of mine. I won't use myself as an example because I think I still have little self-control. Yeah, a friend of mine had, let's say, about 4 girlfriends. But actually, he wasn't actually sleeping with all of them. He kept them. Don't let me say he kept them. He had them for different reasons. And over the years, I realized that most of the time, that's what most men do. You have an attribute to see in somebody. I think that's what Shane said the other time. You see an attribute you see in someone, you see another attribute you like in another person. You can't really have them together. Maybe you have all the qualities you need in a woman in one single person. So you now see those attributes being scattered in different women. Then you now try to bring all of them together. Then you now, okay, maybe this one is actually very good in cooking, or this one is actually very good in bed. This one is a good conversationalist. This one is actually an hyper-intelligent person, somebody you can actually talk with. So you now decide to have, I don't want to call it an affair, but you now decide to date all of them just because you see different things in those individuals. Now, the caveat is, now back to the question of whether love or lust. I don't think it's actually finding love by lust. That's something else that you are going to sleep with. It is not actually love. So it's something you see. Okay, it's like you having a lot of friends, but this time around they are ladies. Now you can push the narrative. You cannot push this person. Now you are going. I think sex. We kind of I call it, we kind of elevate sex to a status in relationship that is not actually as important as we see it. I always define sex as a resultant effect of chemistry. I don't know how to say, because you can say I'm sleeping with this person. So some things must have added up.
Yeah.
So this must have added up, and must have happened. It's not just you meet this person today, and all of a sudden you want to sleep with. No, I don't think it works that way. Something must have been building up, and that's just the resultant effect. So I can have like 5 friends or 5 ladies that I want to date. For instance, the example we made of physical reasons. Yeah, it was keeping them as, in fact, historically they say it's even more like a peace treaty with other nations. So it's keeping them for different reasons. How can somebody be married even reasonably to 1,000 wives? So nobody can cope, even one with myself, no problem. So it was keeping them for different reasons. It was keeping them for different reasons.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe one of them is actually the daughter of so. One of them is actually a good strategist. I'm very sure that one of those women will actually be a military strategist. Yes, we are talking of somebody keeping 1,000 women for different reasons. So I believe that it's possible. We can actually date you can actually love more than one woman for different reasons.
And it's important that, not important, but it's interesting that you mentioned that, because I think maybe one of the reasons why Solomon had 1,000, because the good book said he had peace all around. So I think Solomon just went and married from all the land.
Yes. So that there will be unity of mind.
Your daughter is in his hand. You won't want to fight the man.
Yes, nobody wants to fight people. Now you are in the movie.
So he used, the wisdom of making peaceful treaties by marriage.
Exactly.
All around. So not necessarily that. So now let's get to the answer for this question. Very important, very big debate. See, we wanted to do 8. This is only number 2. But we'll have to jump the last one because of time. Yeah. But the answer, and it's very interesting that we mentioned this, because even though this started as a popular opinion, it's not supported by data that a man can love more than one woman at the same time. However, it is supported by data that women are more likely to fixate on one man or one relationship, while men are more likely to fall for a variety. That is proven by data. So every man that has spoken here tonight, you're so correct. We just use different languages to get to that point. So women, I hope you guys have heard, it's possible for a man to love different women for different reasons. However, commitment and self-control is what pins the needle down on the spectrum where you are. Okay, now let's get to the middle. I'm so sad that we have to jump to the very last one, because there are some other ones in between that I think, ladies, should we take one more? Should we just jump straight to the last one? What do you think?
I wish I can share a secret how ladies can solve this problem of their husbands falling in love with so many people.
Okay, that would be powerful.
Just one secret.
Kara.
Yes.
Kara.
For Eric, yes.
Kara, I think we should take one more. Maybe just the last one. Yeah.
Okay. All right, ladies.
A special edition. Like you said.
Okay. Okay, see this scenario. Men are weak at the areas of their love language. Now, if a man's love language is acts of service, for instance, that man is vulnerable when any lady, any good lady, offers quality service to him. So when ladies go to get house care person, I see these crazy women, they go and get a house care person that is so pretty, so good looking, even prettier than their wife, prettier than themselves. And they bring the person to the house and they refuse to do stuff for the man whose love language is acts of service. The man falls in love with who he sees serve him, do stuffs for him. The lady you bring in, well, let me finish now. The lady you bring in, I'm exposing somebody now, you know.
Yes. No, I don't decide. I actually agree.
So don't forget your train of thought.
The lady, wait. The lady you bring in is the one that sweeps the house, irons the man clothes, washes his clothes, dresses his bed, does stuff for the man, and the wife, the real wife, is there watching, being a madam. The man without self-control and self-restraint will fall in love with that house girl. It's natural because the man's love language is acts of service. The man is pulled towards someone that serves him, someone that does stuff for him. The same happens in the office, secretary. Some ladies take advantage of this. They notice that this man is vulnerable because his love language is act of service. He gives the man quality service, and the man loses his head over her. So ladies, learn, manage your husband. If your husband, find out your husband's love language. Feed him there. Feed him there. Take care of him there. If it's physical touch, man, give it to the man.
Well, Eric, your advice should also flip to the women too, because we should
we are talking about men here. We are talking about men here.
Because what you are saying is not unique to a particular gender. You should also learn your spouse's love language.
Yes, it happens both sides.
Somebody else who speaks a language will take her from you. It's the same thing.
Yes.
So it's not
you
a
are
secret.
right.
In other words,
right.
I mean, it's just basic common sense, in my opinion.
No, you are very right. I'm not disputing that. But because we are dealing with men, is men.
Because I thought when you said the secret, I mean that's just trying to understand who your spouse is. You need to speak your spouse's language. I mean that's basic. That's love 101. If you don't understand,
can I bust a bubble here?
Hey,
can I bust a bubble here? It's not all languages that can be spoken of.
If you can't speak your wife's or spouse's language, you shouldn't be with her.
No, it's not as simple as that. That was why I said, okay, we have a lot of languages that are available. People have 60% of the languages.
They've been compressed into 5, actually.
Yes, I know. They've been compressed into 5, but eventually, when you want to express most of them, you have to go back to the basics. You have to go back to the basics. This is more like an aggregate. Those 5, when you break them down, we keep expanding. And you know the aspect of self-control that Eric mentioned the other time is actually very good, because eventually, like I said, you can't really have all the things you want in a single person. You can only say, okay, let's say 60 to 70% is fine. You can't have 100%. So even if the person have a lot of love languages that he or she understood, the guy might still be pining for the 30% of the love languages that the woman doesn't have. So it still boils down to just staying satisfied with the languages that you're being. Yeah. Or else you just be looking for ancient languages that are lost and nobody can speak.
All right. So if I may say something, guys.
So just
sorry, Steve, 1 second, please. Let MD, please, very briefly, and then I'll go.
Yes, in 30 seconds. What I want to just emphasize here is everybody's thoughts is valid, and we are learning a lot. Personally speaking, I'm enjoying this conversation. Yes. I know this is about men, because the thing is men don't fall in love. But I am tired of conversations that are not really balanced. In all of what we are finally learning to do, I believe that whatever we're expecting the women to do for us, we must be ready to do back for them. Yes, definitely. Your love language is of service, and you expect your wife to speak that language, so you don't get, you don't get tired of the relationship. You should do the same for the woman. Because
that's why I call it a give and take. It's a compromise.
Exactly. The compromise is where love now comes in. Is the reason why I said, for me, you cannot just write me, to me that you love me. The way I define love is that, do you respect me? Do you believe in my? if I expect you to do all that for me, it definitely means I'm doing that for you too. So if your house help serves you, speaks your love language, and as a man, naturally you're vulnerable. What if your gate man is actually speaking your wife's love language? Would you justify
love language of your wife?
Would you justify
I will sack that gate man.
Vulnerability? Because it looks like we are just giving men excuses to continue to be irresponsible. You know, if you want to love 4 women, tell us that you are loving 4 women. But then do not remove respect from the equation. Do not remove support from the equation. Do not remove, everything that needs to be part of what love is. So as vulnerable as men are, I'm just adding this caveat that whatever we expect the women to do so that we can love them right, we should meet them at the middle. Because the women, you can see the way they're looking at you, particularly Ada. Eric was talking, she was doing like this.
All of them are not ready. All of them are not ready.
Let's be frank with ourselves. If women do back to men what we are doing to them, if the society allows women to do half of what men are doing to women, the whole world will burn. I'm telling you this. The world cannot contain it. So we are just lucky that it's a world that favors men and allows us to go away with a lot of things, So whatever we're doing, let's just keep that in mind. My point. I'm done.
Let me quickly, in support of what you are saying, let me quickly shift this in. I think some time ago I was asked what's the key elements in a successful relationship. I actually wrote something I dropped on Amazon a long time ago, 7 dotes and antidotes of relationship. Mutual respect. Now, you see that respect you kept hammering on. Most people don't even understand what it means. Respect. I have a principle. That's why most people don't really. Most people always look at me like I don't support the feminist movement. I don't really believe in it because all we just need is mutual respect. You treat everybody like a human. You treat others the way you want to be treated. If you are expecting respect from your wife or from somebody you are dating, you should also be able to give that respect. You respect the feelings. You know what this person is going through. You just don't act because, I'm a man, I'm supposed to do this and get away with it. No, it doesn't work that way. Eventually, the person will be building up resentment. And one of these days, the person is going to explode. And then you'll be wondering, where is my submissive wife? It's not going to work like that. A submissive wife also needs a submissive husband. And it's not, people always look at that word submissive like, it's true. I'm serious. I do support, and some of my friends will be looking at me like, how come? And they keep looking at me, why do I have a very peaceful, I love peace of mind. And I'm very happy that the woman I got married to always give me that. But the reason is because I always give her that too.
Yeah. Nice.
Because I value her opinion. I want to know what she's thinking. I want to know how she's feeling. So I just don't act. I say, I'm the what's this funniest thing? Everybody always fight about the hair. I don't really do that. So mutual respect is actually very important in relationship, in love affair. You give what you are ready to take. That's just what I have in mind.
Thank you.
I think you're right. You're right. That's right.
Oh dear. There goes our other question. But let me just say a few things coming in from YouTube. Tara has really been talking, sharing her thoughts. And Tara, at some point, she said, with hands on head, says Ukwabi relationship, wife, cleaner, cook, steward, servant, sex toy, mother, and then she says, it feels like women have to do a whole lot of work to keep their relationships. And then the final thing Tara also said is not every woman can abandon her job or career to play the role of a secretary. So what should a woman do to fill that gap? And then Rosie says it's a man's world, they say. So those are reactions from other ladies in the powder room coming from YouTube. So I think that's what MC picked up on and commented on. So this is really like my daughter is full. I'm jotting as fast as I can because so many things have been jumping out at us, tonight, and it's been very, very, very interesting. Okay, let me just throw in this little one. Okay, it's just a little one, but yeah, let's talk about it and see what our opinion about it is. A man can change and be faithful after stepping out on his partner. Let me say that again. A man can change and be faithful after stepping out on his partner. What's our take on this?
What do you mean stepping out? After cheating?
Stepping out after cheating.
After cheating.
So a man can change and be faithful after cheating on his partner.
You mean he can change or he can't change?
He can change and be faithful.
Okay, he can.
After stepping out on his partner. So what's our take on this?
Okay, can I come in?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, definitely.
The question, sir. Pastor Eric, sorry. You know that there are some times when you say after cheating, it's when it's been caught.
Okay.
I just thought to drop it.
Okay. The truth is that a man after cheating on the wife or partner can change. He can change, but he has to be helped to change. Many times men cheat, cheat on their spouses and claim they will change. They even kneel down to beg their wife. They do a lot of stuff claiming they will change. Many times they don't change.
Blaming the devil.
But yeah, blaming the devil, they blame everybody. As a matter of fact, men should value, respect, and love their wives. Men, is irresponsible for men to do those things, to maltreat their wives, to cheat on their wives. It's very bad. But when a man has done that, the man can change if he's helped to change. One of the things the wife can do to help the husband change is, first of all, to genuinely forgive the man. Change for the man begins with genuine forgiveness. I'm coming. You don't, if you allow me to land, before you come in, because if you don't allow me to land, what I'm saying might become controversial, but if you allow me to land, you understand where I'm going.
Yeah.
So just allow me to land before you bring in, and tackle me halfway.
Oh, yeah,
right.
Land.
Now, see the point I'm trying to make. If the wife genuinely forgives the man, that forgiveness begins to help the man to heal. The man needs to heal before the man can change. The man cannot change when he has not been healed. Something is wrong with the man for cheating on the wife. Something, an aspect of his life. Wait, I'm talking of the man. Something is wrong with the man. Something has gone wrong with the man. For him to go ahead to cheat the wife. So he has to heal. He has to. And one other thing the man needs to do to heal is that the man needs to even forgive himself. The man needs to first of all realize that what is done is wrong. If the man doesn't see what is done as wrong, the man will not change. The man will not stop. I'm trying to tell you.
Are you saying some men don't see themselves as having done something wrong?
No, some men see it as their right. Some men, not all men, some men see it as their entitlement. You see, as long as they keep seeing it as their entitlement, their right, what they, opportunity, blah, 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 they can never change. But the man has to first of all realize that what he has done is wrong against the wife, wrong against himself, wrong against God. So when he realizes that, until he realizes that, he's not going to stop. He will think he will stop. He will cry. He will even cry. He will even kneel down. It's just like men that beat their wives, men that, batter their wives. They will do that and kneel down and cry. They can even cry before the pastor, cry before the village people, cry before everybody, buy you a car, but they're not going to stop. Something is wrong inside of them that need to change, need to be corrected before the real change comes.
Wow.
I just gave you a few. There are so many I can give you, but I don't have the time. I don't have the time.
Thank you, Eric. That is good. That's a good one.
Sorry, okay.
I want to say something. I want to say something.
Shehu wanted to say something.
Let's go to Mr. Shehu before we go to Mr. Tayo. So Mr. Shehu.
All right.
All right.
So I disagree a bit with what Eric has said, because we are cutting men too many slacks. Like, you cheat. We know it is wrong. Do you understand? That we don't see anything wrong with it is a different discussion, but we know there's some things that are, there are many shades of gray between white and black, but some things are white or black. Cheating is wrong. Any man who cheats knows is wrong, is out of line. So to then say the man has to forgive himself, what about the woman? What about the person who was hurt in the process? I think we shouldn't excuse bad behavior. It's just bad behavior. That's what I think. Do you understand? You messed up. Own your shit and get your act together. Because if the roles are reversed, the man is going to cry wolf and probably throw the woman out. We can't. It was, I don't know who said it. We can't take half of, it was Tiami, we can't take half of what we give, and that's the truth. Let's stop excusing mediocrity from men. That's the truth. You cheat, own it.
Yeah.
Stop.
All right. All right. Does Kaya want to say something, or should I jump in straight?
Yeah, let me quickly come in.
Yeah. So
now, all my life as a scientist and a journalist, I've been driven by one question. That's my curiosity. Why? When men cheat. Now, I don't even want to say when men cheat. I have a case recently that I was privy to. Is a wife of that she cheated, and surprisingly, I was one of probably the only person who said, "Why won't she?" Yeah, the family were quite close to me, and I've witnessed what the woman actually went through or has been going through psychologically and physically in the hands of the man. And I actually had the information that the man actually hadn't touched her for close to a year and a half. Now, it's not only physical, he also beats her.
That's a very wicked man.
Everything that marriage is supposed to give to her. Now, the question is, why shouldn't she cheat? When somebody cheats, neither woman or man, what is the reason behind it? We can't just be cutting off the head and say, oh, this is the reason. The person who apologizes is still going to go back if the reason for the cheating is still in the marriage.
My God.
So instead of just looking at it and say, oh, they should apologize and no. And of course, we are saying men cheat, fine. But I don't want to start quoting statistic. Don't let's even go to that. We're going to, in fact, don't let's even start that, because every day I witness it. I'm somebody who interacts with a lot of people every day. Both men and women cheat. Now, after a while, I realized that the society always have to jump into conclusion that, oh, you cheat, it's wrong, it's blah. Oh, fine. But they always fail to ask the question, why? What went wrong? What's the catalyst? What made this man cheat? What made this woman cheat? Is it just a random act, or something is responsible for it? So before we start talking about the person need to forgive, the person need to, I don't think that's even the first step. The first step is ask the man, ask the woman, what is responsible? Why did you do this? You see, whenever my wife is maybe a little upset about something, I don't just beg her immediately. I want to know the reason. It might not really be the begging that is necessary. It might be something, ordinary begging. Begging is begging now. It's not, maybe I did something that I need to reverse, or maybe it's just a mistaken identity, something that isn't even worth apologizing about. So if you say the man should apologize and ask the woman to forgive, what if she now goes back to it? Are we still going to be repeating the apology? And so the first thing is, let's identify the reason. A lot of people go through real crazy stuff in their marriages, both men and women. And honestly, I can't deny this. I've actually, sorry to say this, but I've actually supported some people cheating because I see what they go through in their marriages. Yeah, it's hell, as in real hell. Some people are actually in hell. They call it marriage, but it's hell. So whenever I see that, and I have a mantra in this life: live life before you live life.
They should leave the marriage.
No, they can't. That's the problem. They can't just leave because they are protecting that information.
So
they can't. You know, they are trying to protect the
okay, Miss. Okay, Tayo, can you hear
All
me?
right.
reputation of the person.
Can I come in
They
now?
just,
Tayo, can I come in now?
Okay,
yeah.
thank you, Tayo.
Yeah, you can. You can.
All right. Please let me quickly comment.
MD, yes.
MJ, carry your Nigerian network to us, Joe.
I want to pitch my tent with Tayo. Can you hear me, please?
Yes.
You can.
All right, great. So I'm pitching my tent with Tayo, and then I am reverberating what Sheun said. Then maybe I can use some of Mr. Eric's thoughts. Is this the question we're trying to answer? Is can a man change? I think that's the question. So we have all shared experiences that attempt to answer the question. The answer is yes, but it's conditional. Every human being would make mistakes. You tell me that no, it takes a process before something enters something. You know, so you cannot say that a man that cheated was a mistake. But let's say it has happened. The question is, can the man change? Has not crossed that line of becoming a toxic man who has now formed a habit of cheating. If the cheating is not habitual yet, it happened because there are circumstances around it. Like Sheun said, like Tayo said, that he has supported some people who quote and unquote were cheating. If it was circumstantial cheating, that's a new word. You need to write it down. Circumstantial cheating. And the man take responsibility. Then, to answer the question directly on the head, he can change. Okay. However, the attribute of toxic people, is that they do not ever blame themselves. They never see anything wrong in what they have done. It is never their fault, and it's easy to identify them. They blame the trait of narcissism. They blame the weather. Exactly. They blame the secretary for having a big bomb. They blame everything around. So if a man has crossed that line, he's shaking it. Look at the way he's shaking it. Look yourself, look. So if you cheat and you agree that you cheated and you take responsibility. So I want us to, emphasize on the fact that men have been given so much privilege in our society than to expect less from them. Going back to what Sheun said, we cannot continue to excuse men and be cutting them slack. We enjoy this patriarchal society. Let's be frank. We are the ones benefiting most. We are the ones who can marry 2, 3, 4 wives and everybody will understand the sha. We are the ones whose surname the children bear. We are the ones who decide everything. So we have a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. So if you cheat, man up and own up. But when a man begins to blame everything else but himself, he cannot change. He can change.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you very, very much.
Blames the wife for not cooking on time. Blames the wife for not serving him.
Thank you. Thank you. I think I love the fact that we're having a robust conversation tonight and all angles are being thrown on the table. I actually hear that from everything, it might look as if there's actually disagreement, but there's actually an agreement from what everybody has said. Because even Pastor Eric started with, the man needs help. He's sick. That's the biggest issue. There's an illness that is not addressed. And even if you look at the spectrum at the very end, where MD just came in, talking about how he should be caught before it gets to become a habitual toxic thing for him. So we're actually saying the same thing. The fact remains that it is possible, but there are steps that must be taken. Thank you so much, men. And the YouTube is buzzing. People are saying all sorts of things. Jaraya is saying, so is the man's healing the wife's responsibility? Rosie is saying, most times men become repentant only when they are caught. So I think these themes are running through everyone's head and minds, and I'm so glad we're addressing it tonight. And now we've come to the, headliner of today's show. Do men fall in love? And actually, the topic is men don't. So that's it's quite a definitive statement. Men don't fall in love.
Do we
need to, ladies, do we need to explain that a bit, or do you think we should just throw it on the table and leave it there?
Do they?
Can I help?
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
See,
can I help?
Yes.
Yes.
Can I help?
Yes, we do.
So
With conditions.
With conditions.
Let me complete. Sorry. Let me help complete one school of thought. So the school of thought says that men don't fall in love, they make decisions, and they are transactional. So like when they get into a contract, they don't just get into a contract because they love the business idea. They do due diligence, they make decisions, they check. It's not love that makes them really fall. So I agree that it's a process, but I think the background statement is that men don't fall in love, they make decisions. Men don't fall in love, they negotiate a transaction. I hope that helps.
Yeah, in fact, you just hit the nail on the head.
Oh, so Mr. Tayo, you agree with the statements that men don't fall in love?
Yes.
I said we fall in love with conditions. We're saying the same thing.
Okay, so Mr. Tayo,
she just said everything.
Men fall in love with conditions. So I'm going to add that with conditions.
With calculation. We will bring calculator to the table.
Wow. I want to ask, what does it mean to fall? What does fall in love mean? What does it mean to fall in love?
Exactly. Can I say
what's that fall in love? What does it mean?
Yeah. Well, when you do something you wouldn't normally do in normal circumstances for someone. I think that's falling in love. When you do something that other people look at and say, hey, come, you don't do this normally, but you are not doing it.
Okay.
But what happens to you?
What happens to you? What happens to you, man? Yeah, I think that's just the falling in love part. You are doing something.
Ruthie,
I was saying before you have an opportunity to.
Sorry, are you waiting for someone?
Yes, Ruthie.
Yes. Before you have an opportunity to do something, what happens to you? Because that doing something is the process. So do you fall in love before you start to do something, or don't you? That's the question. Because fall is like a sudden action. It happens suddenly. And from the responses we've gotten this evening, we've talked about a spectrum, we've talked about a process, and it doesn't, process and spectrum do not, they don't connote.
It doesn't look like falling.
It doesn't look like falling, because falling is like falling.
Okay, so Ruth, based on what you just said, I think I need to give a little bit of background to this statement. Yeah, it actually came out in a real life conversation between those of us here, ladies in the powder room, and some other gentlemen, and we're actually talking about how men decide on who to marry. Yeah, so you can see a man who's been dating somebody for quite a while, and it's time to marry. He's suddenly ready, and he leaves Neka and goes for Bingpe. And then you're wondering, what on earth? How did that even happen? So that was the context of this. Are we saying that all of a sudden Bingpe now trumped Neka? Or is it that Bingpe has some, attributes that a man will want to take a long-term journey with? And so that's what we're saying. Men don't fall in love the way the movies paint it. Rather, it's transactional. That's actually the topic on the table. So I don't think that to bring that context. So what do we think? Sheon, I want to hear you. Sheon's still here. I think I'm here. Yes, I want to hear what you have to say because I haven't heard you for quite a bit.
Okay, in the context in which you just put it, I think in that context, men don't fall. We more like process love. right? Because just to add to what you said about you date Ineka for so long and you go and marry Bimpe, I saw these Yahoo boys doing a video, right? And then the Yahoo boy was saying, do you think I'm going to marry you? We smoke weed together, we get high together. I think I'm going to be the mother of my baby. Yahoo boy. Do you understand what I mean? So it means even for a Yahoo boy, he's thinking that, you know, for him it's transactional. It's not just that, like Tiami said, it's not just that you have a big whatever. Do you understand what I mean? So I don't think we fall in there. We actually process it. It has to make sense for us. It's transactional in a sense. And maybe transactional might give it maybe a wrong connotation, but it's a process of decision for us. We actually decide to start liking somebody. Say, yeah, this person is good. Yeah, we decide.
Personal process.
Please say that again. You can actually decide to.
We decide to start liking people.
Yeah, it's intentional. It's a deliberate act.
Wow.
And there was silence in heaven for the space of an hour.
I just we go.
Okay, what if we consider the word attraction? As in,
well, Tayo, don't face it.
We definitely get attracted
we are the answer.
to people, to ladies, almost immediately. Oh, we just see someone and we say, oh,
gotten the answer.
You know what has happened there?
I wanted to say something.
Paul knows like that too. Paul knows like that too.
Falling.
All of you are stammering. All of you are stammering now because started with some questions. And from all your answers, we're getting to the conclusion now. Never experienced it.
Pastor Eric, please, I want to hear what Pastor Eric is saying.
Yes,
I want to hear Pastor Eric, please.
Yes,
yes. I want to hear what Pastor Eric has to say.
Are you sure you want to hear what I want to say?
Yes, please.
All right. The truth is this: most of the time, men go into relationship for different reasons. They go for girls for different reasons. I think it's been said here today. And some guys go for girls when they are not even ready to settle down. The guy is not ready to settle down, and he's looking for a girl, possibly a girlfriend, a girl to go out with, a girl to sleep with, a girl to do stuff with. The guy is not interested in marrying the girl, but the guy sticks with the girl. And then when the guy feels he's ready to get married, he thinks the girl he's been with, which in my thinking should have been the best for him because they've been friends, they've known each other so well, they've gone out together, the girl has understood him over time, but he feels, well, I've known this girl for long, I've known her acts, I've known her moves, I've known her tactics. You know, I told you from the beginning that men are like hunters. They keep hunting, they keep going for things, they just keep exploring. Even in marriage, men still want to explore. That's why you want to keep your husband, keep being different, don't just make him feel that he has gotten everything out from you. Keep putting him in suspense, keep giving him new stuff. Men are like hunters. So the guy now feels, well, I've been with this girl, I've known everything about her, I've seen everything, I've done everything. I think I need something new. It's wrong. I'm not trying to support it because somebody will start harassing me now. I'm not supporting wrong things at all. I would never support wrong things. Yeah. But the problem is this is a problem with some men. Some men are not ready and they are into relationship. And the problem is some ladies know and they stick in there. You know, this guy doesn't have a job. This guy you're sticking with doesn't have a house. He doesn't have anything that makes him ready for marriage in the next 2, 3, 4, 5 years. And you're sticking with him, hoping he will pop up the question. The guy is not going to pop up the question because he's not yet ready for that. And then when he's ready,
because he doesn't have the question.
Yes, he doesn't have what it takes. He doesn't have whatever. But when he thinks maybe he has a job now, he gets a job, he gets a house, he thinks he's ready, he's maturing. He feels that same girl who would have been the best for him is nothing. He has gotten everything from the girl. He has gotten the feel. And then he starts looking for something. Most of the time, they now make mistake and bring in someone else that's going to ruin them. I have a cousin who
I have a contribution.
I have someone close to me who had that terrible trap, terrible mess. He had a girl, a beautiful, wonderful girl he has dated, he's been with, that knows him, understood him. In fact, when I was in school, I used to visit them, and I used to love this girl. This girl was everything. This girl will wash it, will visit, wash his clothes, even wash mine, iron them. For me, this girl was just the best. Even
Pastor, I have concerns.
Wait now.
I have serious concerns.
Come on now, come on, I'm coming. I'm just trying to tell you what I saw about a girl who understood.
Mommy, calm down.
Cousin, who was so nice to my cousin, and they were dating. But do you know? Can you believe that when my cousin was about to get married, he abandoned this girl and went to the village to pick a village girl? You can't believe it. When I had it, it broke my heart into pieces. I felt so bad because this girl would have been best for him, that he now abandoned to go for someone who doesn't know him from Adam, who couldn't fit into his life, who couldn't fit into his life in any way, and eventually his life was ruined. I don't want to say much about it because it's someone that's very close to me. But the whole thing began with having someone that was so wonderful that, but somehow his mind told him he's not going to marry the girl for reasons I can't understand. In fact, when I asked him, because one day I asked him, I asked him, when are we going to, do things for this girl, this wonderful girl? He almost gave me a slap. He was like, you want me to marry from here? You want me to pick a girl from here? Am I crazy? It was terrible. And then I thought it was a joke. Eventually, he abandoned this wonderful girl to my own understanding and picked someone that finally ruined his life.
Thank you.
That's why you always advise young girls not to waste
Let me give this advice. As a young girl, please. As a young girl, don't.
1 second, please. I'll call us.
Certain things there are. As a young girl, in a date, there are certain things you should see in a guy that will tell you that this guy is ready for marriage. One of those things is that the guy should be maturing, should be developing, should be growing, should be matured. Maturity. He may not be fully matured, but he should be growing to maturity, both spiritually and physically. Physically, the man has to have a work. Work was one of the primary gifts that God gave to Adam in preparing Adam for marriage and for life. Work. Then, the gift of work. So before you begin to date, stock your life to a guy, make sure the guy has a work. The guy is growing in character. The guy is growing, he has a work, he has a house. He's maturing in character. He has respect for you. He has value for you. A man that has value for you, has respect for you, cares about you, and then growing in spirit, and then also maturing physically. He has a work, in the house. Then the guy is getting a guy that is not developing in his character, that doesn't have value for you, that doesn't have respect for you as a woman. The guy is not yet ready for marriage. He's not ready. So the guy is going to ruin you. He's going to hurt you. He's going to harm you eventually. He might not want to hurt you or harm you, but the circumstances he has found himself, he will. Because he doesn't have a work, he's not developing in his character, he's not maturing in his relationship with men and relationship with God. He's not developing. He doesn't have a house. He's still living in his father's house, still living in his uncle's house or friend's house, and he doesn't have prospects. If you can't see these things, why stick around the guy?
And
the moment you start sticking around,
it's love, sir. It's love. It's love.
You start hanging around the guy, and you start sleeping with the guy. You start living in his house. You start washing his clothes. You start cooking his food. You start doing things that married women do for their husbands. I mean, the guy, you're going to be ruined as a lady. You're going to be hot
Thank you
eventually.
so much.
It's
Thank
love,
you
sir.
very much,
Love.
Pastor Eric. Wow. I think what sums up what he just said is a very cogent advice for ladies, you know, and it's a saying that says, why would I buy the cow when I can get the milk for free? So don't set yourself up to be hurt and then cry wolf later. Be very wise and know these signs. And then, you know, don't go love, fish brain love, according to See the Strategist. It's like, Ada calls it ishiazun. It's an Igbo word for fish brain. So be smart about it and know how to, you know, look out for these things. Sharon wanted to say something. MD wanted to say something. Because time is really against us, I really would want to ask that we keep it brief. I'll go to MD first, and then I'm going to come to Sharon before we tie things up tonight. MD.
All right, thank you very much. From this moment, I may just have to listen in. I have an emergency to attend to. But to answer this question, from my own point of view, I think Eric really nailed it. And thank you also for sharing those very valid advice. Disclaimer here, guys, disclaimer. My own parents courted for 8 years. You know, classical example of a failed love life. Best of lovers, but eventually didn't, you know, have to get to settle together. You know, I'm above 30 years and I can say that ever since I've been alive, I've not seen a day where my mom or my dad are smiling to each other.
Very painful.
Happen. Like it would be a big genuinely. And these are people who did, you know, very naturally in their circle, knew them. So what I learned from all that is that men have, beyond just love, men have interests, you know. What drives the man are his interest. Eric mentioned it, you know, briefly. When the interest shifts, it looks like he has stopped loving, you know. And the problem is the way we perceive love from the different genders are two different perspectives. So what women see as love is usually very contrasting to what men see as love. And so women of the need to be able to see the signs when they flash themselves. My mom, unfortunately, still hasn't moved on. You know, to a great degree, I have to be the person telling her, you know what, this is already in the past. You know, she's still looking forward to that perfect relationship. That's where women are. The married mother, over. The milk has been spilled, the bucket of the milk has been broken, but you still want your milk and everything back. So it's the way we are wired mentally. So men have interests. You want to make sure that if you're in a relationship with a guy, your interests are aligned, and communication should actually be the bedrock. There's another problem here, guys. Women usually, unfortunately, do not like guys who are straightforward. I'll tell you this for a fact. I think Cheryl and everybody else can agree to say yes to it. When that you cannot buy even the tire of a bicycle. You know, so men over the years have learned to just tell you all the sweet things you want to hear. For example, how can you keep a woman for 8 years when you know you are not going to marry her? How did you keep her? You kept her by telling her all of the lies. And she was comfortable. So tell the guy to be very straightforward. These are your interests as a woman. Guy, alaye, Mr. Man, or Benny, what are your interests? If the interests don't align, it's okay for you to move. Yes, because men are they are driven by their interests. You understand? A man who wants to have 40 children, for example, is interested in competing with Sonia Ade. You know, that's his interest. And you know you can't do more than 8. Let's say you want to even be like your grandma. It means that somebody has to balance that up. You cannot get angry when he brings the second wife who will give him an...
Hello? Okay. I think...
you must be sure that the guy's interest is aligned.
Sorry,
that was messing up with my connection. So until that happens, you would always feel like men don't fall in love. When he was with you, he portrayed love. Sorry, I keep getting intrusion from a local call. When he was with you, he portrayed love, and you felt loved, but you did not ask for his interests, or you were not smart enough to pay attention to what his interests are, or the things and experiences that have shaped him, like religion, like society. Do you understand? A man that is from a polygamous home where polygamy really worked out and he loves it, he may consider it. So communicate that part and say, guy, what's up? What do you think about having more than one woman? Let it not be a shocker. So be comfortable with it. Communicate and openly and what do you call it now? Truthfully. So women now, you have to lie to them. They will say, this guy is too harsh. If a man wants just sex from you, let him say it. And if you're happy with it, go ahead. But because he knows that you are going to say no,
I can't hear
so he will buy you suya day one. Sorry, can you hear me? A man wants sex from you. But because if a man tells you directly that he wants sex from you, you push him away. Okay. And a man always gets what he wants. So he will buy you suya on day one, buy you roasted fish on day two, day three he brings you to his house, day four a man is patient. He would give it to you as you like. He will get what he wants, but in the end, you feel cheated. You just actually fell into the trap. Day one. Like more women need to stand up and say, you know what? Alaye, the way you're buying suya, what do you really want? What do you want?
Thank you so much.
If he says what he wants, and if it is something you cannot offer, you move on. Thank you. I will listen in from here, and then I look forward to an interesting deliberation. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you so much, MD. Oh my God. We love you. Thank you. And thank you for sharing from your personal story. You're amazing. Please, I'm so glad that you're sitting in. Thank you so much. Wow.
My pleasure. The love is mutual. Thank you very much.
Kai. Getting back to Sheon, Sheon wanted to say something. Sheon, are you still keen on saying something?
No, Tiami has said so many things. I think for the sake of time, let's just move on.
Okay, thank you so much, Sheon. All right, so ladies, we've heard it. There's so much happening on, maybe I should just, before we close down, a few of the people that are watching on YouTube, they've been making some comments and it's been quite interesting. Let me just take that very quickly. So Ijoma Omelga asks, is it possible for men to submit? And then Jereya answered, Ijoma, I believe so. From a faith-based perspective, a godly man should always be in submission to God. And in doing so, he should recognize and respect the value in his wife as a child of God. And they're saying, very true. I agree with you. Under God, you can submit out of reverence for Christ. So there's quite a lot. And Pamela Ndupe says, there's no justification for cheating, but forgiveness is key. Tara says there's a lot of work to be done regarding mentoring the male child. Tara, that is so key. That is so important. There's a lot of mentoring programs for girls. I don't think I've seen one for men or for boys in our local communities and environments where a man just takes some boys and they mentor them through on what it means to be a man. So thank you very much, Tara. That's a really important one. And then Ijoma Melga agreed, mentoring our male children, very important. A lot of men are not properly groomed. So there's a lot of buzz happening on YouTube. I'm sorry if I didn't read your comments. We're really out of time. But oh my goodness, ladies in the powder room, what an explosive conversation we have had tonight. Oh, please. And please, if you're watching us on YouTube, do like the channel so you can come back. This is our channel. It's our season finale for this season, but we're coming back bigger, stronger, better. So you would want to like the channel so that when we do come back, you do get alerts and you'll be notified when we're going live. Oh my goodness, ladies, I don't know how we're going to appreciate Pastor Eric, Mr. Tayo Fashion, who started from his car in Ekiti and ended up in his office, MD Tiami, oh my goodness, what a robust conversation. I think you have, you didn't shake tables, you scattered tables, you tore them down, you built new ones, and you helped us to think. I think we should just, if you're on YouTube, please put your hands together for them. So if you're in the powder room, let's just appreciate Pastor Eric, Mr. Tayo, Mr. MD, and Shehu. Oh my goodness. Thank you so much, everyone. I'll give the other ladies an opportunity to also appreciate you if they'd like to. Ladies?
Yeah, you said it all, Cara. I'll just say I learned a lot. You know, let's not assume that we know so much. I learned a lot. I came to the show with some ideas, having had conversations with people, but you know, they brought a lot of perspectives. They answered the questions, and the truth is, I'm not sure we have the answer to the statement, men don't fall in love, although it seems that we do, but I mean, there are many perspectives to it. And for me, what I would say is that unconditional love is the way to go. Because if we keep saying, oh, expect this or not expect that, we may just not get it right. I think it's about what we give without expecting much in return. But thanks, everyone. It was fantastic. I've learned a lot.
Thank you very much, C.
Wow. Wow. You know, I've always been a strong advocate of hearing from men when it has to do with relationships. This is not me saying maybe women are all over the place, but I mean, if you want to talk about love from a man's perspective, who would rather say it better than the man? What we see oftentimes in relationship circles is that women talk for themselves and they also talk for men. And that is why we've raised a lot of women also who are everywhere crying, you know, weeping. It just doesn't make sense. So this is me also chipping in that till you also begin to learn from the men, you would just be in your assumption lane, in your zone. And I'm super duper grateful to every man who came in here tonight. You firmed up my belief. So I was just laughing like a fool almost all through the session because it was just hitting it for me. It was just hitting it for me. And I don't think saying that we did not get an answer may not be totally correct. It's just that we probably, again, do not want to accept what the answer is. We have heard it clearly.
Yeah, no, so I meant there's no, it's not yes or no.
This is not me.
No, yeah.
No, this is not me coming for you, MC. This is not me coming from you for you. This is me saying that asking whether it's a yes or a no. You see women ask those stupid questions. So do you love me? I mean, that is a fish brain move. We've heard it. And for every single lady out there tonight, even for the married ones, Pierre said a lot of things that, you know, for me is to heart. Tayo said a lot of things. And funny enough, every man in the room tonight is a married man. So it means the learning is, you know, is on point. So the point from me again is that as women, as we learn along the lanes of relationship, let's hear from the men what it is that, you know, that they want, they need. It will make us better women. And vice versa. This is not me also nailing the women. I'm just saying that if you'll be in a relationship with someone, find out how that person is wired. Find out how that person thinks. Don't assume. I remember early days in relationships, you're crying for a situation. You turn and look at the person you're crying for. The person is snoring happily and sleeping and is great and is good. You know, so it's the male and female differences.
That's unfair.
So I feel so grateful. I feel so happy. I know many people are listening tonight. I know many people will be well. And for those of us who do not like to take it, there are many women in that lane who do not like to take it, which is why men also like to lie a lot because it seems that's what they want to hear. Please save yourself the heartbreaks. Take what it is. It is transactional, build value so that on that spectrum, you can actually be shifting to the positive rather than the negative. That's just it from me.
Thank you so much, Casey, the realist. Oh my goodness. Yes. Ada the sage, and you'd better be throwing what was it? Proverbs. Because we've missed that. Sage, what's your final?
If I don't have any problems today, what will happen? Okay.
They lie. You always have one.
They have to. In Igbo, they say, onye yishu, my bonataya. The person that is wearing the shoes knows where it hurts the most. I so much agree with Casey the realist when she says, ask the guys what they want. Ask the men. My husband taught me, I think the 4th year of my marriage, said, Ada, you people do this thing and I keep laughing at you guys. Why is it that when you're friends, you people I hear you guys chit-chat a lot, and you're talking about men, and you won't go and ask a man, you keep asking a woman, she will only give you an interpretation based on her own prism. If you know the way men reason, if women just had a minute to ask guys what they really want and how they think, or just float them on those problems you're having with your guy, with another guy, you find out that you've been drinking Panadol for what you shouldn't have been taking Panadol for. In fact, so many other things my husband taught me about that. I can't even say on air, but if women really knew these things, I think they would cry less. So yes, onye issue, my born attire. It's fantastic we heard from the men. I so agree. The second one, in Igbo, they say, mmanya hu onye ọma, ya ebe ugwu. That's a bit thick, but it just means that men are very, very direct.
No. I'm doing the literal translation.
Okay, so let me translate. When a drink is manya, alcohol. When alcohol comes in the hands of a man that enjoys it, he settles down there. That's why the guy gets drunk. That's orato woto. Okay.
That's sweet. You make it snow.
So what I'm just trying to say is that men don't waste time. My husband taught me that when you're watching the sports, the animals, he said that how come National Geographic, that episode ends once the animal, the hunter, has caught the prey. Once the lion catches the antelope, it's over. Because that's the whole idea. So guys are very transactional people, like we've heard. All this cutting for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. My husband told me within 6 months, a guy knows whether he wants to marry you. All this long courtship doesn't make sense. So that's the meaning. Once a man sees what he wants, he comes for it. So don't waste your time in long courtship and long relationships. Those things don't make any sense to me. If it's going to, you can never know everything. When you marry, you will see the rest. And you might find out that what you even knew was just 10%. So cut the chase and, yeah. We should be smart. They said think like a man and act like a woman, right? Women need to do that. Yeah. So that's my 2 cents. Thank you.
Wow. Ruthie, the professor, what's happening at your end?
So the host, Long Soroju, the person who was leading the moderator, sorry. The 4 of them are co-hosts, right? But then you come and moderator. Lead vocalist. So I want to call.
MD, we're hearing you.
I'm telling you, MD.
This is what happens to Zoom.
So I can hear about myself. When you're listening to gossip.
This is something that's...
Oh my God.
You're hearing gossip. So just keep quiet so that MD, put yourself. This happens a lot on Zoom meetings. Okay. All right. So, Professor, let's hear you.
Okay, so as not to take any more time, I'll just repeat the answer I gave. When we started talking about this topic, I remember we asked ourselves, okay, do men fall in love? Some of us want to hear that men fall in love, and that's okay. But I thought about it, and over the years, I've learned something that has helped me, even in my life and advising other people. I agree with Casey, the realist. A lot of times we don't want to agree what the reality is. And that's why we suffer for it. But really, if you want to hear that men fall in love, fine, hear that they fall in love, fine and good. But when men fall in love, they start to strategize. That if they do, so let's leave that, whether they do or not. But when men fall in love, they start to strategize. But I found out that when women fall in love, they start to fantasize. So you just start dreaming up things. And, you never ask the person any objective questions. You never do any reasoning. You just let your emotions take over. But I understand that we have the capacity to be objective. So if you have that capacity, use your objectivity in romance. Don't go and hang your brain somewhere when it comes to romance. It's all about the heart. and it doesn't involve the head. The head and the heart have to work together in romance, and then you'll be fine. So if you fall in love and maybe the chemistry happens, then after the chemistry, let there be questions. After the chemistry, let them not be biology.
Let there be.
Let there be questions, not biology. Because that's usually what happens. You throw yourself on the person you want to. So no, let there be some, I don't know which subject to use to replace biology that usually happens after chemistry.
Psychology.
Psychology after chemistry. Sit down with the guy, have good conversation. Like Tayo said, or one of them said, he said, I think I heard that you need to ask him, guy, what do you want? Really, because if you don't know the interest of the person, you will just be running your own track. And there's no place you can meet. So parallel lines are moving. But when it comes to romance, it's not parallel lines we're talking about. These lines have to meet somewhere. And these people have to get into a relationship. So talking about falling in love is one thing. Usually women, when it comes to falling in love, it's marriage that is in our minds. So when it comes to marriage and all that, you are not even asking serious questions. You're just dreaming.
You just want to guide the man.
So all right. I don't want to cut you. Just maybe are you done?
And be objective. Don't fantasize and be foolish. Basically. So men fall in. If you want to agree that they fall in love, fine. But let them fall in love, but know that this is what happens in their process. It's a process, it's a spectrum, they strategize, those things, let it not hurt you. Be fine about it. Be fine.
Thank you so much, Missy the Prof. Okay, see the strategy. I'm so sorry, time is totally gone. So if you could just please keep it really nice and short.
I already said, Kara.
Okay, thank you so much. And I think everything we've just said feeds into what's happening on social media. Everyone is thanking all the men. Everyone is thanking all the men for sharing from the depth. You know, it's a gift to get into the mind of a man or to get into the mind of a woman. You have to be granted access. And that's what these four gentlemen have done tonight. They've granted us access and they've helped us to be wise and to see the truth. Jaria is saying, reminds me of the TPR episode where the ladies gave advice to singles, very important. Jaria said, thank you, Pastor Eric. Thank you, Tayo, MD, and Sheung. The wisdom, openness, and honesty from all of you was amazing. Ijoma Melga said, a lot of lessons here. I'm definitely sharing this. Thanks to all the men who shared from their hearts. Thank you, ladies, for organizing this. So you can see there's a lot of things coming up. Yes, thank you. Really, thanks from all of us. And I think before I go, my very last thoughts will just be, that is why the good book and God doesn't get involved in casual relationships. You get involved in covenant relationships, signed relationships, where you go and sign something on paper. So whether you feel like or you don't feel like, you're committed to this one person. Actually, my best definition of love says that love is the direction of your will towards the good of another. I missed the word. Is the sustained direction of your will towards the good of another. So it sounds, it's not all feeling and mushy. You also need to use your will, use your mind, use your heart and everything. Thank you so much, guys. And for joining us on YouTube. This is, like I said earlier, our very final episode for this season. And we're so glad you could join us. So from my sisters and my newfound brothers, we're going to say we love you. Thank you so much and have yourself a really lovely evening. Guys, you can say goodbye.
Thanks for having us.
Hey, pretty lady, you tell yourself that you'll never make it. Drown yourself in lies and your illusions. Don't you know that what you think is who you are? Hey, pretty lady. Hey, pretty lady. You tell yourself that you'll never make it. Drown yourself. Don't you know that what you think is who